Let me get your NFL juices flowing by asking you a question right here. Perhaps lost amongst the fact that you were hosting the Heisman Trophy ceremony on Saturday was a story that came out on NFL.com about Urban Meyer in Jacksonville right now. And there's a big to-do going on right there because the piece was saying at one point he sat his coaches down and made them defend their resumes against his to show why they should be brought back next year. And that's an outlier to say the least here in the professional ranks. Is there a sense that his handling of the losses here in the NFL is the way that he would maybe handle the outlier of one single loss at the college level, and that might be the disconnect here, Chris?
There are probably several challenges for him to adapt and adjust, and the players too. I mean, you can come in and be the drill sergeant from day one, and you can imagine how that might not go over well if you're losing. Right. You know this. If you win, everything's fine. That's a tonic for all the problems. But when you lose, everything is amplified. And I don't know the exact tone of those meetings, defending their resume versus his, if you're going to put it that way. That doesn't sound very good on the surface. No. That's how it went down. But, and making them justify their job, that doesn't sound very good. But who knows exactly how it went down. I think that, head coaches are always going to look to fix things and give themselves a chance to keep the job. Many guys fire coordinators, and then when that doesn't fix the problem, guess who's next? So, but I always thought that it might be a bit of an adjustment for him to the NFL and for the players on that side of things too. And I don't know. You tell me, was the deck that stacked against him in Jacksonville from the start? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have called pretty much every one of Trevor Lawrence's big college football games. You saw him as generationally talented as he is right in front of you, and you also called a ton of great Urban games. I'm just wondering, based on what you knew of both of them, the way that he would run a program, in Columbus or even before that in Florida, and knowing Lawrence, if anything that I just told you from that article rings true of what he would do in Columbus, I guess is the way I should have more artfully asked the question of you.
I think it's tough there. I think it's tough for players and coaches because you're right about the parallel. You don't lose games in college like they're losing. You lost more games by far in this season than you lost in a career. Or you got to go back years and years. How many losses do the Jags have now? What is it?
11, and he had 9 at Ohio State. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's your answer. I mean, he's just not built for losing. He never has lost like this, and the players haven't either. So this sport is just damned hard, and when you're losing, it's even harder on all fronts. And I don't think Urban suffers losses well at all. It's one of the reasons why he was so driven and so good in college. But like I said, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if the deck was stacked. I don't know what to make of it. But I don't think anybody imagined it going this badly. Do you?
No, I think
you didn't have them making the playoffs. I mean, nobody did, right? But I mean, in terms of they're going to finish with 13 losses, 14 losses.
I think so. I think the one thing we can guarantee is those Saturday games that ESPN's going to have is basically not going to include Jacksonville because I think this.
And I'm fine with that. I'm more than fine with that. Listen, one of the things we're so spoiled, though, Rich. I mean, these broadcast teams in the NFL, like you go in and even a big game involving a marquee opponent,
right?
You might have the other side is 4-8 or something, right? So you got to go and do the meetings when things are going south. We don't have that problem in college. Everyone we call, it's a big game. They're having a great season. It's tough. Go in there. Hopefully we do the Week 18. We'll have some great meetings with people, and there'll be a lot to play for. And you mentioned like the Cardinals game. Like, what's cool about the league is you can suffer a bunch of losses. I happen to like the parity of it. I think it's one of the weaknesses of college football at the moment. It's just so top heavy. This year, less so. It was nice to see some fresh faces winning conference titles, and have some fresh faces in the playoff. But the NFL, like Arizona, like if they're third in the conference, you got to go through Tampa. Good luck with that. I mean, there's so much at stake. Like a Monday game with a few weeks to go. I like that. I like that part of it.
Yeah, and guess what? You and Kirk, for those conversations, you're the fresh face. I guarantee you, because it's Week 18, right? So you're going to be calling the national championship game a couple days later. The first several minutes of your Zoom or your meeting will be them picking your brain about what you think is going to happen in the game. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. They're going to be excited to see
maybe.
you guys.
I don't know. Their time is precious.
No. I bet you. I think
it is kind of neat when you come in, you get the rare chance, and we've only done the one game, but we've also, I bump into plenty of NFL people, on the scouts and so on, and personnel people around at games, and it is kind of neat. You're not one of the ones who are bugging them and harassing them every week, so it's nice to be a fresh face, and
absolutely
they're a little bit eager to talk to you, which is pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Belichick, you'll talk Saban with him. You get Kyler, you can talk about Oklahoma. I mean, you and Kirk have quite the Rolodex to be talking with all of these guys.
We need to have a conversation with Mayock on the field in Vegas at the Pac-12 championship game about Kayvon Thibodeau, versus Hutchinson, pass rushers, what they look for, what's crucial about how a team views them. I mean, that we don't smother our college broadcasts in what their draft board position is, because I think you can overdo that. It's a college game. We're not talking about the next level essentially, but it is fun for me to hear their perspective on it. There's a lot of value in how we present it based on how these guys are viewed from personnel guys.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.